Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shannon Overbay, and got the co-host today, Shannon Overbay.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to episode 158 of the Who Are You podcast. The number just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right?
It's amazing. We love it.
Yeah, time just keeps on going by. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, welcome, welcome. We're always happy to have a new listener, a new watcher. If this is your first time, make sure you guys click that subscribe button on YouTube or that follow button on any of our social media or podcasting platforms. It's going to be at Who Are You Pod for all social media. It's going to be Who Are You Pod for everything on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, and there's going to be Who Are You podcast for what? YouTube. Yeah.
Yes.
So make sure you guys check us out on there, all of our video content, all the good stuff. But you guys know where to find us nowadays. If you guys are one of the Who's, one of the gentlemen,
Who's,
the ladies
love
that's
you.
listening to the podcast all the time, we appreciate you guys, and we hope to bring on some new ones. But today, we're sitting down for a little chill Sunday hangout. We've been busy. It's been a busy week, with life, work, all that kind of stuff.
Very, very busy.
So just catching up with each other here. We had our awesome podcast last week with Ulysses, the Combat Night champion. Shout out to him. He was an awesome conversation.
Great guy.
Great guy. Super cool guy. Got to learn a lot about what he did, and he basically detailed every single fight that he went through, going through to get the championship belt. So it was badass last week.
If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's just last week.
That's right. Go check it out. But we're just kind of hanging out, like I said, just coming back for another week. We want to make sure we bring out an episode every single week as much as we possibly can. But like I said, it's just been busy, man. Just
very
busy with life. Shannon's been working. I've been working. I've been killing some midnight oil and working some later hours. But, just trying to make things meet.
We do what we can, Got to work the late hours, make the good paychecks, and...
Yeah, they say the paychecks are looking nice. The hours are rough, but we're making it. Having a good time, learning some new things, you got to
pamper me today.
I did.
My mani-pedi.
Shannon got to go out and get her nails done, her fingers and her feet, but obviously no free feet pictures on the podcast. You got to pay for that.
Slippers on.
Got to pay for that if you want to see that. But doing that, all kinds of different stuff. I learned how to put in a UV light for as a
cool.
HVAC technician this week, so that was cool. Got to do some other things, and it was crazy. One of our clients this week, we went to his house to do an inspection, and I get to talking to people over time, and I'm usually there for a couple hours, so I'm just kind of hanging out, talking to him, and the guy has 15 acres of land, beautiful home on it. Oh yeah, that's I'd kill for it. He has that. He has two houses on the property. The whole front yard is just trees, but they're perfectly spaced out where there's a lot of space so you can still see through it.
Yeah.
And I got to talking with him for a minute, and I was like, hey, man, I'm not trying to, get into your financials, but I'm just like, what'd you used to do? He was in his 50s,
right.
Not crazy old, but not super young. And he was like, well, I was an electrician. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, hell yeah, man. And I was like, I'm trying to get like you one day, be one of the trade guys who can make his money and, do what we can do. And he's like, oh, that's not where I made my money. I was like, oh, really? I was like, where'd you make your money from? He's like, well, I got hit by a semi-truck. I was like, oh
my gosh.
I was like, heard?
I think you told me this. This was crazy.
Yeah, he's like, I made a good chunk of change off that. I'm like, I can tell. I was like, you're doing pretty damn well for yourself out here.
Yeah, and obviously with my job, I deal with all these high-profile cases and stuff, but... Good for him.
I was just
I don't know who he used, but... I
mean, he's still going through it. He still has, surgeries and stuff he has to go through. So, obviously, he's in pain still. It's not like he's like, oh, yeah, I made my money and I'm perfectly fine. He's still fucked up.
And obviously, that's how most of our cases are. It's great that you get a good chunk of change to compensate for what happened, but you're going to be going through pain the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's, the awful part. There's no amount of money that could ever, replace that.
Yeah, just being able to wake up every day and just hop out of bed. And, it's kind of one of those things that you don't really appreciate it as much until you don't have it anymore. But, we ended up working on his AC units. They were old. They were from 2003. So we ended up he decided with us to replace them and everything. And not going to tell how much he spent, but he gave us the check for the full amount.
Wow.
He was just like, here you go. I was
it's no payment plan or anything.
No, nothing. Wow. He was just like, here you go. I was like, all right.
Awesome.
And he was super cool, gave us a tip, all kinds of stuff. Super nice guy. I really it was a pleasure to work with him, all that kind of stuff. But it was interesting. I will say that. I was just like, damn, I just couldn't imagine being able to hand a large sum of cash over and just here you go.
Pay it in full right up front. That's awesome.
He's like, I don't want to, do any kind of payment plans or anything. He's like, I can just do it. I was like, Respect to you, man. Yeah. So there was that. Got to play with a bunch of animals this week. A couple French bulldogs, a husky. You saw me the other night. I was working late one night. I think it was like Friday or something, and I was in the house. And me, like, I don't tell the people to put their dogs up. I love animals as long as they're cool and not like biting me or anything like that. But they want to play. And I was sitting there, and there's just this husky just following me the whole time. Anywhere I went, and it was like, "What are you doing? What you got going on?"
Was the Siamese cat this week or last week?
Oh, that's right. I did get to see a Siamese cat. I got to pet a Siamese cat. That was like 2 weeks ago.
It was playing with you as well.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking cool because I've always seen them on, like, I'm sure, is it the Lady and the Tramp where the Siamese cats are in that one? I am Siamese.
So. Yeah. Cinderella. I don't know.
It could have been Cinderella. But I think it was the Lady and the Tramp because it was the one with the dog and the meatball and everything, right?
So long since I've seen all that, but yes, that is Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, like I've seen them on like people having them and stuff. I've never like been in a house in person and got to pet one, and it was super cool. It was just following me the whole time too.
And even Anna's cat Duchess, like she's kind of Siamese, I would say, but she's kind of not. Like she's white and grayish, but like.
But this was like a picture, like when you think...
That was the picturesque.
Yeah, like you Google a Siamese cat, that's literally what the cat looked like.
Brown, tan,
and it had the,
exactly where the markings are.
Bright blue eyes and everything too, and it was real playful. Like I love when a cat's just like loves to play, so I thought that was cool.
It's crazy, like certain animals that you don't see a lot of, like Siamese cats, Dalmatians.
That's what the one I was going to say. I remember we saw one we were driving down back from our apartment one day, and we were like, "Oh shit!"
Well, we saw one at our vet.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
and it was so like sweet, very well behaved. But yeah, it's weird how there's very few animals that like you hear a lot about, but don't hardly ever see in person.
Well, it's also just how expensive some animals are nowadays too. Like breeders and shit will be like, "Yeah, give me $5,000 for this dog." I'm like, "God damn, man! Like, what are we doing here? I thought this was a dog.
Right?
I didn't know I was buying a car."
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like all that, but another part of the work week that was rough last week. I'm gonna start putting in a freaking segment in here. How did Connor get hurt this week? Yeah. I've been getting bruised up, cutting myself, and all this other shit. Like there's a freaking. I'm
sure if you're watching the video, you can see the multiple bruises on his legs.
Yeah, there may be some, just a couple. You know, I'm surviving and thriving. You know, I can only do so much. But yeah, so I ended up taking off the tip of my fucking pointer finger last week, so that was fun. Didn't need stitches. Your boy ain't no bitch. So I took care of it. A little bit of medical training in the background of my life, so I know how to take care of myself.
Oh gosh, you told me that, and I was just like, do you need to go to the hospital? And you're like, I don't know yet. I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean you don't know yet?
I was fine. Obviously, I'm cool. I'm chilling. So to tell you guys the story of how I took my finger off, or tip of my finger off, not my whole finger. No clickbait here. You know, only the truth. I was working, like one of our services that we do is we'll pull your blower wheel out, clean it for you if there's a bunch of growth on it, blah. And
just for people who don't know, a blower wheel is in the outside unit, like your AC.
No, it's in the inside unit.
Okay. I don't know.
That's why.
What is it?
I wasn't done explaining yet.
Okay.
So the blower wheel is in your AC unit on the inside of your home. So like, you know, if you have a closet with your AC unit or if it's in your garage. So it's the top thing that literally pushes all the air throughout your house, right? It spins and pushes air throughout your house. A lot of times stuff can grow on it, whether it's like mold and mildew or a bunch of dust, all that shit. Bad air quality, you know, whatever it is. Anyways, so offered to clean it for her. She decided to move on with the cleaning. So I was like, okay, perfect. So I take this outside, and it's an older blower wheel, so it's rusted and all this other shit. And on the inside of it, it had a nut that basically was holding the screw for it, but it was supposed to be welded on there like the other three that are on there. But it came loose over time because it's old. So I had to stick a screwdriver in there to hold it in place so whenever I used my drill, it would catch and it would unscrew the screw. My finger was too close to the top, so because I was trying to hold it in place and it was a tight space, I can't see my hand inside where I'm doing it. And I use my my drill, and I do that, and it goes, whoop, and literally went whoop, right across the tip of my finger and took that shit off. I was like, ah! And I was bleeding up a storm. It was like going down my arm and all this. I'm outside this lady's house with saline solution, like just like spraying myself off. I'm looking at my finger. I'm like, oh shit, do I need stitches? Anyways, I got some, like my first aid kit, got my gauze, taped it up, did all that kind of stuff, and I was fine. I was okay.
You're fine. Yeah, it just took a while to heal.
It was this finger. It's still there. I can still grab and all that kind of stuff. I'm fine.
Yeah, it only took like 2 weeks to heal.
Yeah, life, it happens.
Ridiculous. Meanwhile, it's what I do for a job, and I'm like, excuse me, what is going on?
Well, it's something like it'd be different if it was like literally like from like to the first knuckle. I took my fucking finger off.
I know.
What are they gonna do? Like pay for skin off the tip of my finger? It's like.
Well, that's why I got to make sure everything is okay.
Yeah, if it was something that serious, obviously other things would happen, but it wasn't that serious. I survived.
Ridiculous.
It's just every week I come home bleeding, and Shannon's like, "What happened to you today?"
There's always something. It's like, "Hey, this happened today," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. Thanks for telling me."
Or I'll talk to you how I got I shocked myself with like the low voltage. I'm like, "Oh,
not okay."
It's part of the job.
Not
Shit
okay.
happens. No, the real fuckheads are the people who do the like you open your breaker box, right? Mm-hmm. So where it has your like what if we wanted to turn all the power off in our house? The fucking people that like they'll install something new or they'll put a new appliance in and they'll label it. It's never labeled correctly. It's never fucking labeled correctly.
The wrong one.
It's always fucking wrong. Because I'll go back and then I shock the shit out of myself. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like,
oh no.
And I go back and look at the schematic. I'm like, I know for a fact I turned this off, and apparently I didn't because they don't like to label shit correctly. Because God forbid any inspectors and all these other fucking people that work on these houses
turn all of them off.
Or it'll be someone's cousin. They'll be like, oh yeah, my cousin Joe put in something new for me, and you open up the breaker box and it's smoking, and you're like,
just wires everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like this is like a house fire waiting to happen. I'm like, Jesus, people. I'm like, I'm all about saving a buck, 100% about saving money, but like when it comes to electrical wiring in my house, probably gonna,
go with a pro.
Go with a pro on that.
Not the neighbor.
Yeah, and then I went to a house today. I was on call today and went to work, and this guy, for people who do this, be careful. You know how you guys take your showers and everything, right? And there's that fan that takes all the humidity and everything out of that room. Homie left that thing on all night. It caught on fire, melted. The molten like plastic went down and fell onto the toilet, melted through the porcelain of the toilet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I went there today. I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is a little fucked up, in my opinion. I was like, holy shit.
How did it create a fire, though? Like, was his...
Well, you got to think. So, one, the fan will get hot after a while for running.
That makes sense, yeah.
But also, like, you know how, like, right here, we have a return vent right there, right?
Yeah.
All that dust and, like, cat hair or whatever
what I thought
it is.
It had to be dirty.
Yeah, like, it gets caught up in there, and it's on a hot fan, so it probably just... or maybe the wiring shorted. Like, obviously, like, I'm not a forensic guy when it comes to this side of things. I went there, and he told me what the fire department told him, and I was like, okay, interesting, all right.
So he lost his toilet, obviously.
Yeah, so toilet's gone. That sucks. Out of the house, and like this is like a very nice neighborhood too. This was like a multi-million-dollar houses I was in. I was like, that sucks.
Dang.
So yeah, that was a fun one today.
Sounds fun.
No, doing what I can. I'm not an electrician or anything, but I work in HVAC, so I guess I know a little bit of it.
Just a little bit, but you gotta. I tell you all the time, be safe. Try to be more careful. Take it slow, but
I do my best. It's hard. It's hard out there in these streets.
Yeah, I mean, switching gears, my work's been very busy lately. My 2 managers were out of town. They had a nice little vacation, which they deserve, but they went to Brazil, so very fun for them. And we had a new girl start the Monday that they left, pretty much.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, we've been training her, and, we've just had a lot of technical issues that require them to set things up. It was just a stressful week.
Feel that.
But they're back, so hopefully everything will get running smoothly again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can understand. It's just been freaking busy. Like I said, work life's been crazy, and also if you guys are sports fans, Shannon's not a big college basketball fan. I am. I'm not like a huge college basketball fan, but I pay attention, when it gets to tournament time. And I've been watching the finals on everything. Gators ended up winning their Elite Eight, so they're going on to the Final Four now. Shout out the Gators.
Go Gators.
This is also the first time in like over, I think, was it 12 or 15 years? I can't remember, that all four of it, like the Final Four is all number 1 seeds.
Really?
So the best teams that were like ranked number 1 going into the tournament, all of them are in the Final Four.
Oh, I think I overheard you and your boys talking about it, because it was like saying like a number 11 or something was the highest before.
That was the lowest seed. So like, so they were like more of the bottom of the barrel when it comes to it. Like there's like, I think it's like 15 and 16 are like the lowest you can go.
Gotcha.
And they made it to made it farthest through. They're like, for being an 11 seed, they made it through the farthest in the tournament ever. But that wasn't this year. That was like years ago.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in like I said, over 10 years that all 4 of the like number 1 ranked seeds have made their way in. And I think No, it's not all SEC. It was about to be all SEC if Tennessee won. But yeah, so like the Gators are in there, Duke's in there. Alabama is in there, and then Auburn. Auburn's in there too. So yeah, it'll be an interesting tournament. Shout out the Gators, go Gators! They tried to give it away, but
hopefully they go all the way.
Yep, I want to see the Gators.
I mean, they made a really big comeback. Like I wasn't really watching the game, but I was listening and obviously hearing you and your boys talk. And
you see Trent stand up and like walked aside. He was worried. He was worried for a minute. I was like, my boy,
because it was the last quarter and they were down.
So in college basketball, it's only 2.5, and it got down to I think it was like 3 minutes. They were down 10.
Yeah.
And like me and Trent were like, oh, fuck. Like the Gators are fucking up. They were turning the ball over and all this shit.
Literally, I'm just behind them doing my scratch art, and I just start hearing them get louder and louder.
Getting excited.
Screaming and standing up.
Well, we had one guy, Clayton, shout out to him, the point guard for the Gators. He ended up just fucking going off. It was like 3 after 3 after 3. And then another dude of ours, I think he was our power forward or something. Guy was 6'9", usually not a guy who's going to be shooting threes.
That's crazy. Made
2 in a row as well. And we just ended up like by the skin of our teeth made it past and won that game. So I was like, fuck yeah. So we'll see.
Great comeback.
Yeah, it was a good game to watch. Like I said, Shannon's not too much of a college basketball person, but I get into it. It's been fun.
I like to watch my NFL football games, but other than that, I mean, you can get me to go to some shrimp baseball games in person.
Yeah.
And not watching it TV, but college basketball, I don't really know the teams, and
it's one of those.
Yeah.
I don't watch, like, if there's a Gator game on, I'll throw it on and stuff. It just depends. But when it gets to like tournament time, that's where it's a little more fun. There's more storylines. It's like the Super Bowl or playoffs.
Yeah.
They get a little bit deeper dives into each player's background and more of a story arc and blah 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 blah. They hype it up to make it look good. So that was a fun one. That was a fun one to watch. And yeah, so.
I mean, in other news of our life, there was a new addition to the McCrossan family.
That is true.
And it's a new Shannon in the McCrossan family.
That's right.
So the namesake has been revived. I am now obviously Shannon Overbay, but the OG Shannon McCrossan, and now it's there's a new one.
They should have named her like the second. Shannon McCrossan the second. That's what it should have been.
I have just been getting pictures from my cousin and my uncle. She's adorable. Congratulations to my cousin. And
yeah, congrats, y'all. Super happy to hear.
So
I wasn't even aware they were pregnant. That's the thing that was crazy.
They really didn't post much about it. I think I saw like one thing that was like the baby shower or something.
Yeah.
Like one post. So
hey, no hate. I just, like I said, I wasn't aware, and you told me. I was like, oh. I was like, okay. I'm glad to hear everything went well.
Yeah, but I was like, Shannon McCrossan the second. It's
crazy.
Pretty much. That's crazy. I am obviously ecstatic. I can't wait for her to be old enough and meet the OG.
Yeah. The family grows more, It's me and you don't really have like crazy big families. It's not like we have like 100 like
we really don't,
like cousins and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool to see another one come into the world, and then sooner or later we'll have another Overbay running around.
There will be sooner or later. We're re-signing our lease one more year. Hopefully we can save up enough money and get into our house here in the next year or two.
That's the goal. Get the house. I say now it's saving time. We're trying to make our monies and see where we can go.
Then we'll build the family.
Yep. The family will come into play. You guys will see a baby strapped to my chest while I'm doing podcasts and stuff. So
eventually there'll be the giggles.
Yep.
Jillian's been sending me videos of little Kai giggling. It's so cute.
I just feel older every single day. Everybody's having kids. Everybody's getting married. I'm just like, fuck, man. We're all adults now.
I mean, Haley's going to be due here in the next few months or so. It's crazy.
I saw a video the other day, like talking about feeling old. I saw a video the other day. They were asking college students. They're like, what year do you have to be born to be considered old now? And one dude said like 2002. I'm like, fuck you, bro. I'm like, shut your fucking mouth.
I think I might have saw the same video as you. That was awful.
I was like, how dare you fucking come at me like that?
I think the farthest they went was 1999.
Yeah, that's when I was born. I was like, fuck you guys.
And I was like, wow, I'm just ancient, I guess.
So this is tough, man. I was like, I guess this is what, my like cousins and like my parents felt when we were getting old, or they were getting older.
Honestly, though, anytime I hear that now a 21-year-old was born in 2005, 2004.
Whoa, so they'd have to be 21. So 2004? Yeah.
Like, that makes me feel so old.
It's crazy. It's funny now, like they don't they don't even look at my ID for long enough. They're like, "Oh, 19? Oh, okay," and that's all they got. That's all they got to see.
It is crazy. So, I hate it.
In that same video, they were like, "Yeah, 19," because like, damn, bro, you were in the 1900s. I'm like, "Fuck you, bro." I'm like, "Yeah, I was born in the 1900s. I was born the last year of the 1900s."
At least we still get ID'd.
Yeah, we do.
There's that factor.
For now.
For now.
For now. We'll get to the point, and I'm like, damn, it's going to be tough. It's, I still feel like I'm 16.
I know.
I know we talk about it all the time on the podcast, but it's some bullshit, y'all. This grown old shit hurts.
It is wild.
There's that. It's hard to sleep. It's like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, I don't really have any problems sleeping.
She doesn't. If you don't talk to her for longer than 5 minutes, she's out. And then myself, I'm sitting there thinking about, oh, we're on a spinning rock running through space.
No, I get so tired enough, and then like by the time I'm laying down, I'm like in my mind, I'm mentally prepared. Like, okay, I'm ready to just go to sleep.
But nothing bothers you though.
No. I mean, I don't think about it right before bed, and I don't think I lay there long enough to give my mind time.
I guess I just can't block shit out because like me, I'm just sitting there thinking about everything. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Kind of
create a black empty space in my head.
Am I gonna make it? That's me. That's my mind. Am I doing enough?
I mean, there have been times where I've literally woken up in the middle of the night like freaking out about something to do with work, so that's not fun. But going to sleep, I have no problem.
Must be nice. Must be fucking nice.
Yeah.
I guess just me. I'm just a weirdo, I think. I know
other
people go through this. Yeah.
That go through it.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my Zins.
Oh my gosh. You and your Zins. And
Zins, if you're listening to this, sponsor the fucking podcast.
Yeah, you love your Zins. I got him a special Zin canister, actually. I
use it all the time at work.
I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or not, but it's literally gold, and it says like 6 milli gum pillies or something like that on it. And
Get the Zimbabwe's out.
It has like all the different compartments for your used ones and your new ones.
I have it in my backpack right now. I just haven't put these ones in it for some reason. I need to throw it in there.
You slacking.
It's hard. It's hard out in these streets, as I said before. But to move on to something else, one of our normal segments, did you want to do top 3 or did you want to do the would you rather start?
Let's do would you rather first.
Would you rather? Would you want me to go first or you want rock, paper, scissors it?
Okay.
Ready? Look at me in the eyes.
Okay.
Not my hand. Ready?
Yeah, we always go through this.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You got me. So I go first? All right. So this is one that I was cracking up when I wrote it down because I screenshotted it the other day. Would you rather always have wet socks or always have a small rock in your shoe?
That sounds awful.
Don't they both suck?
It's only in one shoe? The rock?
Yeah, I'll say one rock.
I'll choose that one.
Really? That would be annoying as fuck after a while.
100% would be annoying, but, you can always rest your feet and everything.
But you
always wearing wet socks.
My feet are always wet from work, so it's just kind of just is what it is for me.
I love my feet to be nice and warm and comfy. Like, I'm always wearing my slippers. I could not deal with wet socks.
But you're gonna have
absolutely not.
You're gonna have a fucking rock in your shoe. Have you never walked
only when I'm wearing shoes?
You wear shoes frequently, every day, actually.
Yeah, but, I take them off sometimes at work, so I won't have to deal with it 24/7.
We go on a hike or something, and you just have a rock.
How often do we go on hikes?
I mean, we could. Say that's where
that's probably where the rock would get into my shoe.
I proposed to you on the top of a mountain.
Yeah, that was the only hike we ever did.
That's not true. We used to go through nature trails all the time, all that kind of stuff. You're trying to act like...
we should go on more hikes. But yes, I would choose...
Well, there's nothing to hike here. It's just flat. Yeah. It's just walking.
Well, we'll travel more and do that.
I understood.
But, yeah, I think I would rather have a rock in one shoe.
You're wild.
Always have wet socks.
Nah, fuck that. Wet socks all day. I ain't doing rocks.
So, is that only when you're out and about, or it's 24/7?
24/7. I'll wear it 24/7.
Fuck no. Fuck that. I am not dealing with it.
The rock in your shoe would piss me off. I'd be so fucking angry by the end of the day.
Think about you're sleeping and you have wet socks.
I don't sleep in my socks.
Whatever. Your feet would be old granny feet all the time. Old granny feet. No thank you.
Better than chipped up and fucked up from a rock in your foot.
There are feet massages, pedicures like I had today. That would all help it. It would all help it. Put in the comments who you agree with. What would you rather have? Like you said, it's a small rock in one shoe. I think that's the best option.
I think you would change your mind.
We'll let the people decide.
Let you decide. Let us know in the comments. I know she's wrong, but I just want to make sure you guys, if you guys can just put it in the comments, let her know how wrong she is.
That is so gross. Wet socks. Okay. My would you rather is, I'm going to do this one. Would you rather live in ancient Rome with guaranteed fortune?
Okay.
Or live 100 years into the future not knowing what your financial situation is like?
That's tough because ancient Roman times was very rough.
Yeah.
A lot of murder, rape and pillaging and all that kind of stuff. And then, like there's always people trying to take your ass out. They don't
wars.
Did they have I think they were the first, like one of the first, like they had working bathrooms and stuff too, but I think
let's just say they do. We'll have running water.
It was it was just a hole in the ground basically though.
No, we're not going to say that. They'll have running bathrooms.
But if I went 100 years in the future, you may not be around. My family wouldn't be around, so that'd be rough too.
That is true.
I don't know.
I was thinking more like, what if we just lived in, would you rather live in ancient times? Like, this is our world, but ancient Rome? Or this is our world 100 years in the future? So you don't have to think about losing things like that.
Okay. I would say 100 years in the future.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I feel like, like back then, like, say someone cuts your fucking arm off, you're most likely going to die. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to, like, medical stuff.
That's true.
100 years in the future, I feel like by that time, we're just going to be a robot. They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's like a car dealership. They just bring you in, zip on a new, like, freaking arm or whatever appendage. That's true.
I mean, what if Earth, like, we're living in a different planet? Everything is...
That's true.
You never know.
Well, it'd be a new adventure.
That is true.
It'd be a new adventure. I feel like technology would make it the possibility of us living a good life, even if we're not like super rich. I feel like there would be just enough technology in general,
Yeah.
I just feel like the ancient Roman times, like sickness, not that, what was it? Just
illnesses,
just basic illnesses like a flu. Like a flu could kill you, or if you drank water that was not good for you. You know what I mean? There's really not much they could do for you.
That is true.
Also, if they thought you were like, I don't know if like witchcraft or sorcery was around at that time too, they could like think about that kind of stuff with you as well.
Yeah, I didn't dive deep enough into ancient Roman times to know if
the
witches were around.
This is where my mind goes, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's just like, the reason why is like, I'm thinking like the movie 300, you know what I mean?
300.
You never saw 300?
I don't think so.
This is Sparta! And
I know the scene, but I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my God. Super good movie. Shout out that movie. That's a good movie. So I would probably say 100 years in the future.
That makes sense.
The only reason why I say that is because you guys are there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if like life was like people who I have in my life now are there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see why you say that.
You know what I mean? I think that's a good one. I think that's a good one.
All right. What?
Top 3.
Top 3.
Our top 3 of
This is a fun one.
This was a fun one. This is one you got to think about a little bit. So we're gonna say top 3 animals you would want to be in the zoo.
At the zoo.
In the zoo. So which animal would you want to be as a person? You know, if you could switch your consciousness over to whatever animal you wanted to be in the zoo, what would it be? Do you want me to go first?
I want to go first.
Go first?
Because I feel like we'll have some same...
I'm sure we'll have some similar ones. It wouldn't surprise me.
All right. So my number 3, I put an otter.
That's a good one.
You know, they're cute. They just get to run around, swim, do what they want. I think they have... Do they have the otter touching?
I don't think they have that. At least at our zoo. No. I don't think they do.
Well, if they have that, that'd be cool. But,
I would.
You know, they just get to be happy and have treats and all that.
I think that's a good one.
My number 2 that I would be a giraffe.
Giraffe, okay.
Because, you know, they're chill. There's a lot of them. And they have the feeding section.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always getting treats.
Yep.
And then my number 1... Obviously, I'd be a jaguar.
I already knew it was going to be some kind of big cat. I already knew it was.
Obviously, I love jaguars. I love leopard print, things like that. And they're so adorable and just get to, I don't know. I would be a jaguar.
Okay.
I did have an honorable mention being a peacock. Just because they get to roam around the zoo. Like, they're not confined to any one space.
They're just going around being assholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just scream as they walk around.
They do scream, but they're so beautiful and fun. So.
Okay. Interesting.
Those are my top 3.
We have one
that I would be.
We have one that's overlapping.
I think I know.
Yeah, of course. So with mine, again, my thought process, I thought about like animals that like, you know, usually if they're out and about, they're hunted, or like, you know, they have the bigger sanctuaries in the zoo and everything. So, you know, I mean, a little more space.
I was trying to think a little bit about space too.
That's what I was thinking about. So my number 3 is a capybara.
Okay.
One of those like the little rodent things. Like those guys are always getting like hunted in other countries and shit. And they're just running around just hanging out with their boys. You know what I mean? Just running around, going in the water, going in swims, eating their lettuce and shit, you know? I think they're cool. I think they're cool looking animals. Like if we ever have a zoo or we ever can get our land and I can like, if I can legally own one or 3 of them, I'll 100% get some capybaras.
I definitely did not think about a capybara.
They're cool. They're fucking cool animals.
They are cool. I get it. Okay.
So I went for the capybara. And this is more for the space aspect as well. I would say a hippopotamus.
Okay.
You know, hippos are pretty badass animals. They can swim really fast.
But they don't have much swimming space.
They got a lot of water and stuff from what I've seen. They have like, you know, like the lakes and stuff. And they're usually like with like the rhinos and stuff. They're usually in the same area with them. Because I think they're from the same area. Aren't they all from like Africa, if I remember correctly, like somewhere around there?
Somewhere. Probably.
Yeah, so I was thinking hippos. They're usually pretty badass. They have the big mouths, so they can eat like a lot of food. They get a lot of watermelons, like the watermelons, the pumpkin videos and stuff like that. So I would say a hippo for my number 2.
Okay.
And then my number 1, the one that you said already, I would want to be a fucking giraffe. You know, I'm already tall. As Shannon said, you get the leaves and people just are excited to see you. Mm-hmm. And those are usually the homies that are getting hunted over in other countries. Yeah. So I think they're just hanging out. They're just like, today I'm a giraffe.
I'm just a giraffe.
I'm just hanging out. There's no lions. It's a famous Joe Rogan saying, there's no lions attacking me.
That's funny.
And so I get to hang out. So I would say a giraffe, 100%. I think the giraffes get to hang out.
And for those who don't know, there's just a joke that giraffes are Connor's family.
Oh yeah,
he's so tall.
I'm related to giraffes. That's basically the joke that goes with everybody. My Xbox guys that I play video games with.
It hasn't been mentioned in a long time.
Oh no, it does. It gets mentioned every time I go play video games with them. What is it? The boys. Whenever I got to golfing yesterday, they're like, "Yeah, our mascot got here." I was like, "Oh, the Jacksonville Giraffe."
Oh my gosh!
So that and all that, it's fun. It's fun stuff. So yeah, I would say that
in a zoo, they're great.
And that's another thing I thought about as well. Was like, you know, like I wouldn't want to be like a gorilla or like a monkey because I feel like they're like not too far away as us as humans. So they're just they're basically just in jail.
That
you know what I mean?
True.
It's just like, fuck, man, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, they do have kind of cool enclosures and stuff with the, like, net ramps and stuff in the air, but I agree with you.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's just a tough experience. You're just like, oof.
Yeah,
it's
rough.
Agree.
100%.
Tough one. So yeah. I would say that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Any honorable mention or no?
No, not really. I think I got my list off. You know, I think those ones are cool. You know, I feel like the one that's probably like pure hell is freaking like snakes and shit, or the stingrays. There's always these people trying to touch you and shit.
Yeah, hands always in where you're trying to swim. I thought about that too. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like that.
I wouldn't want to be one of the petting zoo animals because there's some kid that comes in all heavy handed and is just like.
Yeah. And even like the birds and stuff, like they get the little feeding stuff, but there's always people trying to like grab them. Yeah. You know? So I agree with you.
I think that's why they enjoy shitting on people.
Probably. I mean, I don't think I deserved it, but
that's right.
That's a story.
A good story for this. This was like really early in our relationship. Like we went to the zoo when we were like first dating.
It was probably like 20.
It was during COVID.
20? Yeah.
Because I have a picture of us wearing masks while we were walking around and doing everything at that time. It was like really early COVID time. And Shannon has, like the Jacksonville Zoo, they'll give you this little cup of like sugar water or whatever they drink kind of thing. And Shannon's sitting there and one lands on her shoulder and one lands on her head and I get a photo of it. And then 2 seconds later, it just shits on her head, and I'm sitting there.
Well, I didn't even know it shit on me, and the bird flew away.
Yep.
And we turned around to leave, and you were like,
So I'm sitting there helping, like, there's these like hand washing stations. I'm sitting there helping Shannon wash her hair out and all this. So
yeah, that was an experience for sure.
Hey, it brought us closer together, didn't it?
I'm glad you were there to help me because I didn't know. I couldn't see it or anything.
She was all grossed out.
I can't believe it shit on me, but people said it's supposed to be good luck. So maybe, you know.
Whatever you say.
That's what I try to keep in mind, to keep the positives, you know? Okay.
All right. 1 second. Sorry.
So, we talked about the zoo. I don't know if you wanted to talk about anything, like, what's going on in the world. I made a couple notes.
There's a couple things going on. You know, obviously there's there was one thing I did want to talk to you about, and if you saw this on the news. So apparently our government officials were talking about like battle plans through a thing called, what's the app called? Signal. So Signal is like one of those apps where like it encrypts your messages and blah, 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 blah. They try to say no one can ever get into it and everything. So apparently there was like a group chat with a bunch of officials like talking over like battle plans and war plans if shit comes down, or like, future attacks if they want to do it. And apparently I can't remember if it was like a news anchor or like a reporter somehow made their way into it, or they were invited into it and saw the plans and like leaked it out kind of thing. It was like a whole like big scandal that's going on right now.
I did not see about
I was
that.
like, that's tough. That's like using Kick. Like, you remember the old app Kick, and like telling the boys like, hey, this is what we're going to do when we want to go bomb someone. It's like, what the fuck are y'all doing, man?
That is awful.
Wouldn't this be
There's no way the news anchor accidentally got in there, but also the fact that they were leaking plans is not good.
Like, this is a very like surface level description of the whole like situation. Shout out to macrodosing. I heard it on the macrodosing podcast from Barstool, and I was like, damn. I was like, that's fucking nuts.
That is crazy.
So yeah, apparently we need our officials for some reason are using technology to talk over these things, which in today's world everybody's like to say, oh, these things can never be hacked or any of those things and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
Maybe that's why Musk's there, to create more of a secure, I don't know.
Well, he's getting fucking beat up now too. Like, people are going and like setting the fucking Tesla cars on fire and like running into them and keying them and all this other shit. It's like,
there's been a lot gone down since he's been part of the...
Yeah, it's a stupid politic bullshit. Yeah. Like, whatever side you're on, whatever is fine. But like, it's just like, we're just doing stupid shit now. We're destroying cars and all this stuff, and people are trying to say, oh, like, we're trying to protect the environment, but let's go burn these fucking cars. Right. Or, they think standing in front of a dealership with a sign is gonna like make change. I'm like, it's 2:00 on a Tuesday, bro.
Right.
Like,
you don't have anywhere to be?
You don't have a job. You don't have, like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? But whatever. That's
just fun.
Just my opinion.
Yep.
Like,
people are gonna do what they want to do.
People are wild nowadays, I swear. It's crazy to see it now with social media, how like both sides just go at each other all day long. And I'm like, do you guys ever get tired?
That is true.
Just ever, like, do you guys like, what do you talk about over dinner with your wife? Like, just like some crazy political bullshit. Is that all you hear?
Honestly, when do they go to sleep even? Because I feel like they're, I would think that they have quote unquote normal hours, but there's no way that's true.
I have no idea anymore, but it's just the world being the world.
The world is the world. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot more things to come.
Yeah.
But on a positive note, there's apparently a star that's supposed to explode and be almost as bright as the North Star in the next few days.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a dead star, like 3,000 light years away.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, to think about how, like, they talk about, like, the speed of light, right? Mm-hmm. Like, a star can explode, like, years and years and years ago, and then the light finally gets to us where we can see, like, the sparkle of it and everything. It's like, isn't that kind of wild?
I think I heard something where it's like, we're always seeing the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when it comes to space. That is crazy.
It is. It's kind of wild to think that there's, like, just balls of fire just in the sky, right? Or there's like, actual planets. You can see planets in the sky at night, but at least here where we live, there's so much light pollution that it's very rare that you can just see the night sky.
That is true. Because, like, obviously just comparing where I used to live in Ohio to here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crazy difference.
There's been many times where, like, you guys have taken me, or you've taken me to Ohio to go see your friends or your family and stuff, and I'll just, like, walk out, and I'm just like, wow.
It's just the cornfields compared to the city lights.
There's like no street lights, nothing. It's just pure darkness, and it's crazy. Like, you look up in the sky, you're like, holy shit, this is here every single night. And you just, like, you don't think about it with living in the city like we do here. Yeah. And me growing up here, this is just kind of what I've always been used to.
Yeah, it's nice to just stop and, like, look up at the stars every once in a while. And
makes you feel small.
Yeah, it does. But it's just also so pretty and calm, I feel like. you know.
Oh, that's why I like just going outside. You know, like when we used to do our nature walks all the time, or like we go kayaking or go explore somewhere new. I just like being outside because it's different than like, you know, like obviously I'm addicted to my phone. We all are nowadays.
Yeah.
And I just feel like after a while, it's just sitting there looking at my phone. It's just like I didn't accomplish anything. You know, at least going outside, you're somewhat getting exercise. You're, you know, being in nature and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Not just brain dead scrolling.
Yeah. You know, we are animals. We got to go do
true.
animal shit sometimes, go be one with nature. I know it sounds like crunchy granola shit, but that's not what I'm like meaning by it. But it's
like even pool days is just it's going out, getting some fresh air.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And I'm so excited for the pool days to come back now that the weather's getting nicer again. It's going to be nice.
It is. But I think this was a fun episode. I think we got some good stuff out there.
I agree.
Is there anything else you need to add?
I don't think so.
Nothing more?
No.
Well, this was a fun episode of 158. Another good Sunday hangout in the books. If you guys have a topic or something you guys are seeing that you want us to talk about, let us know. Put it in the comments. We're always looking for more stuff to talk about. Obviously, we bring you up our live updates and everything. We enjoy our, you know, Sunday hangout style of doing the Would You Rathers and the top threes and everything. Put in the description who you think had the best top three, or if you guys feel like we missed some animals that have a better,
Yeah, what animals would you be?
Yeah, let us know.
I think it's the ones that are in the zoo, so it's not just any animals.
That's right. So definitely let us know in the comments. But if this is your first time checking out the Who Are You, make sure you guys leave us a like, a comment. Let us know what you guys thought of the show. Always big fans of getting some more feedback about the show and what we can add and change or, you know, keep in general. But it's been a fun episode. And then if you guys need to find us on any of the social media, it's going to be at Who Are You Pod for everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the normal spots. It's going to be Who Are You podcast for the YouTubes. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Leave us a like, comment on there as well. And the final thing, as always, if you guys feel like you'd be a good fit for the show and you want to come on here and, you know, tell your story or talk to us about your business or whatever you got going on in your life, shoot us a DM or shoot us an email for Who Are You Pod on the social media. You can shoot us a message there. Or it's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But as I say every single week, it was a good time hanging out with you, love.
Always fun.
Always excited for another episode. Thank you guys for checking us out, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.